Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you're new here, make sure to smash that subscribe button and ring that bell so you never miss out on our deep dives into the wildest stories in the world of sports. Today, we've got a story that's definitely gonna make some waves. We're talking about a guy who's no stranger to controversy, none other than Adam Pacman Jones. If you know anything about Pacman, you know he's had one of the most talked about careers in the NFL. But today, we're not just talking about his skills on the field, we're diving deep into a bombshell revelation he made recently. Pacman just spilled the beans on how he cheated the NFL drug testing program during his career. That's right, he claims he never used his own urine for a drug test. So, what does that mean for the NFL's drug testing policies? And how does it affect the way we view Pacman Jones's entire career? In today's video, we're gonna break it all down for you. Stick with me, because this story is packed with surprises and might just change the way you see one of the NFL's most controversial figures. Let's get into it. Alright, so let's start by setting the stage. Adam Pacman Jones was drafted by the Tennessee Titans in the first round of the 2005 NFL Draft, with the 6th overall pick. The guy had all the talent in the world. Fast, quick, aggressive, Pacman was a cornerback who could lock down wide receivers, and he was also a dangerous return specialist. The kind of player who could change the course of a game in an instant. But unfortunately, that's where the good stuff stopped. Because while he was an elite athlete, Pacman's career was marred by constant off-field issues. I mean, he had the kind of career that could have been a Hollywood script: the rise, the fall, and everything in between. Throughout his 12-season career, Pacman played for several teams: the Tennessee Titans, the Dallas Cowboys, the Cincinnati Bengals, but it was far from smooth sailing. He missed 2 entire seasons due to suspensions, mostly related to off-field altercations and incidents. He was arrested multiple times, and the NFL had no choice but to suspend him repeatedly. But here's where it gets even juicier. Despite missing all that time and having multiple run-ins with the law, Pacman kept finding his way back into the NFL. And that brings us to the real meat of today's story. So, recently, Pacman made a shocking confession. On Deion Sanders' weekly show, We Got Time Today, Pacman revealed something that's got everyone talking. He admitted that he never used his own urine for a drug test. Never. He said he cheated the NFL's drug testing program by using someone else's sample to pass the tests. And this wasn't a one-time thing, according to Pacman. This went on throughout his entire career. Let that sink in for a second. We're talking about one of the most well-known players of his generation, admitting he outsmarted the NFL's drug testing system. And here's the kicker: he says he was really good at it. I cheated the program. Like, I was really good. People don't know how smart I am, but like, I can say it now. I don't play no more. But like, I've never used my urine for a urine test. Not one time. Now, Pacman is basically saying that not only did he manage to get away with this, but he was actually smart enough to do it every single time. Think about it. As an NFL player, you're constantly under the microscope. From the media, your teammates, and the league itself. And yet, Pacman claims he never got caught. How crazy is that? But before we dive deeper into the specifics of his claims, let's take a quick step back and look at the context here. The NFL, as you all probably know, has some of the strictest drug policies in professional sports. The league conducts random drug tests throughout the season, and they've been known to test players for everything from performance-enhancing drugs to recreational substances like marijuana. So, why did Pacman feel comfortable admitting he got away with using someone else's urine? Well, first off, Pacman himself is quick to point out that, back in his playing days, the drug testing procedures weren't as rigorous as they are today. He argues that the NFL's drug testing methods weren't as sophisticated, and that it was easier to get away with cheating. And honestly, when you look at it from that perspective, it kind of makes sense. Pacman also called out Deion Sanders during the interview, when Sanders challenged him by saying that today's testing wouldn't make it as easy for players to cheat. Deion, who's now coaching at Jackson State University, asked Pacman if he thought he could pull off the same stunt with today's more advanced testing methods. But Pacman was quick to push back, saying that back in his day, the system wasn't nearly as strict. It's not hard to believe. The NFL only recently upgraded its drug testing technology to more accurately detect substances like synthetic urine. And as we all know, technology in general has come a long way in the past decade. So, Pacman's point is valid. Back then, it wasn't as hard to fool the system. But today, that might be a different story. Now, the million-dollar question: does this confession change how we view Pacman Jones's career? Well, for some fans, it certainly does. For others, maybe not so much. It's important to recognize that Pacman was one of the NFL's most electrifying players when he was on the field. His ability to cover receivers, his physicality, and his knack for making big plays made him a fan favorite, especially in his prime with the Titans and Cowboys. But as we all know, his off-field issues, from legal trouble to suspensions, often overshadowed his on-field success. But let's not forget about his incredible skills. Pacman had everything you'd want in a cornerback: speed, agility, the ability to read the game, and that confidence that made him a true playmaker. Remember his time with the Bengals? He was a key part of their defense for years, despite all the noise surrounding him. You couldn't ignore his talent, and that talent was good enough to keep him around in the NFL despite all the drama. And of course, let's not overlook his contributions as a return specialist. Pacman was one of the most dangerous return men of his era, and that's a skill set that can turn the tide of an entire game. He wasn't just about stopping the other team, he could flip field position or score points just as easily. But for many, his talent will always be clouded by the constant drama surrounding him. Even after retiring, Pacman is still making headlines. Just last November, he got arrested after an altercation at the Jake Paul vs. Mike Tyson fight at AT&T Stadium. We've all heard the stories about Pacman's off-field troubles, and honestly, it's a shame because his on-field talent was undeniable. But it's that off-field chaos that tends to dominate his legacy. Whether it was issues with the law, his run-ins with security, or the constant suspensions, Pacman never quite got out of his own way. But let's be real here: while Pacman's controversial side certainly doesn't help his legacy, it's also what makes him so interesting to follow. He's one of those athletes who is constantly in the headlines, whether for good or bad reasons. His career is a perfect example of how talent can be overshadowed by personal demons. And now, with his confession about the drug testing program, the questions are just piling up. Did Pacman represent the type of athlete who could have had a much more successful career if not for his off-field antics? Did the NFL fail to adequately monitor players like Pacman? Or is it just a case of a guy who got away with it, and now we're all learning about it too late? Pacman Jones might be retired, but his story is far from over. His legacy is complicated. He was a player who had everything to be a Hall of Famer, but his off-field behavior, and now, his confession about cheating the drug testing system, will always be a part of his narrative. But hey, that's the NFL for you, a league where success and controversy often go hand in hand. So, what do you think? Do you believe Pacman's confession? Was it easy to cheat the system back in the day? And does this change how you view him as a player and person? Drop your thoughts down below, and let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Pacman Jones's wild career, make sure to hit that like button, share the video with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. We've got more juicy sports stories coming your way, so stay tuned.